get some hostages.
Just want to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you.
It's like I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines.
Charlie, you ever play roulette?
On occasion.
Well, let me give you a word of advice.
Always bet on black.
By the way, is there anyone on board who knows how to fly a plane?
FM. I am DJ Zouain, and welcome to another edition of The Hijack. This is The Hijack number 281. Number 281. And thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining The Hijack. You can actually subscribe to The Hijack wherever you get your podcast by just going to the n.fm. You go to the n.fm, you actually choose whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, whatever it is that you listen to. You can go there, click the little subscribe button, and it will subscribe you. It'll alert you when we get new shows. So please be a part of it. Please join us. And we have a lot to do today. We have a lot, actually. It's actually pretty cool. It's exciting. We have my buddy Matt Doolittle. There's a long history of when it comes to my radio story. And it starts in 2004 at Real Radio. And, just as a radio rat, nobody knew who I was. I was there with the evening show as a listener that was a fan. And one of the people to let me in on Friday nights was the homie Matt Doolittle, who will be joining me. He's done a lot of stuff since then. He's done TV. He was on I believe the Daily Buzz. We'll talk about all of that, but he's got some news and stuff that he wants to chat about, and I wanted to catch up with him. So what better way to do it than on The Hijack? But before we do all of that, I wanted to address something that I see a lot in social media right now, especially with COVID and the new unemployment insurance and stuff coming out. There are people, I don't know what the unemployment insurance situation is now. I guess I think it's like $300 or something like that, maybe a week. I have no idea. The point is that unemployment insurance was toyed around to be $600 a week at some point, and the first thing I heard out of people's mouths was, but I get paid less than that for going to work. Why should they make more? Why should they make more than I am making for going to work? So, and these are also the same people who don't want tuition forgiveness. They don't want tuition forgiveness because they had to suffer and they paid their loans off. So they had to suffer, so somebody else, so it's not fair, so somebody else has to suffer. How is that even logical? They had to suffer by paying off their loans, so now they have to make somebody else suffer. And it's not because they're going to be benefiting in any way. It would be one thing if the person that is bitching about this would be getting some of that money that this person is in debt, this person is in debt for. Like if my paying off my loans pays off or gives money to that person that has paid off their loan, okay, cool. Then you may have an argument, but that's not what's happening here. The only thing that's happening is one person is being unburdened because they were young and dumb and persuaded to go to school at 18 for underwater basket weaving, and now they don't use their degree and they don't make any money or whatever. And let's not forget the global pandemic, the recession, and all of the other stuff that people, at least in my age bracket, I'm in my late 30s, 38. Not for nothing, we've suffered quite a bit these last 20 years. So the people, the other thing that gets me about this is that Number one, I thought that's a thing. Sorry about that. I thought that we were supposed to be working toward a better place, a place where the next person doesn't have to do all of these crazy things and has to, have all this burden, all this debt, this unnecessary debt. We're supposed to be better than this. We're supposed to work toward a better place. I want to make sure that the person after me suffers less than I do because of hopefully something that I did or we as a community have done. I don't get it. And a lot of the people who hold this belief are Christians. So if that's the case, then why don't you get up on that cross and get crucified like Jesus? Yeah? I mean, Jesus paid your debt, and now you're benefiting from that. Something that the people before Jesus was around weren't able to enjoy, if we're to believe the Christian narrative here. So those poor peasants had to sacrifice their own animals. Why should you get the opportunity to not have to sacrifice your own animals? But anyway, we'll continue that conversation on Irreverent on Sunday. You can actually subscribe to Irreverent on the N.FM, on Spotify, Google, etc., etc., etc. Same thing as the Hijack, and same thing as the Monday Music Mix that I hope you enjoyed last Monday and will enjoy this Monday. Yeah. So, the selfishness in Christianity. That's something. Anyway, the people who pay the lousy wages, the people who are in favor of paying lousy wages, want you to look at the unemployment that people are getting and going, oh, they're getting more than they deserve, as opposed to acknowledging and realizing that you're getting less than you deserve. That's all it is. Now, let's switch gears for a minute. I'm gonna switch gears for a minute, because one of our reoccurring segments seems to be separating the art from the artist, at least as of recent, because of the Capitol riots and Zach Deputy and the guy from Iced Earth. The guy from Iced Earth, by the way, he's a member of a group called Oath Keepers. Look those guys up. Look those winners up. This week, I had another moment of reflection. It was another one of those, do I stop listening? And I mean, it's not something new. This isn't like I didn't just realize this person was a scumbag. This is something that was known. But then I realized, and I was like, oh yeah, no, Phil Spector. Phil Spector passed away at 81 of natural causes. He went to prison back in 2003. So, should I be sad that Phil Spector died? Phil Spector is known for two things: producing and murder. In that order. Before he decided to do the second thing, he did the first thing really, really well. And not only did he create the wall of sound method, which was used in a lot of recordings, like most recordings in the 60s that you hear that are, it's just, he is the godfather of a very influential and very, a recording method that is that was a staple in the 60s, and he was also involved in albums that I love. He produced "End of the Century" by the Ramones. I mean, Johnny Ramone called "End of the Century" one of the best Ramones album, or his favorite Ramones album to work on. So all of these people that I admire, at least musically. Johnny was known to beat up Dee Dee Ramone and stuff like that. So everybody's got their dark side, but how dark do we go? He produced "The End of the Century" by the Ramones. Do I stop listening to "End of the Century"? But then he was also charged for second-degree murder, for shooting an actress by the name of Lana Clarkson. Lana Clarkson. According to reports, the guy was actually known for threatening chicks that didn't take his advances, didn't take well to his advances. So I ask you, do I cancel the music that he was a part of? Do I cancel the Ramones record that he had a hand in? So no more End of the Century. Done. Okay, cool. But wait, he's responsible for the Wall of Sound formula in the 1960s. Remember that? So now I'll have to look for all of the music that used that method of recording. This is really starting to get exhausting. This is starting to feel the way I felt when I met my first vegan friend. You know how I said that last week I have one friend that I know for a fact that is in Shreveport? I know two friends for a fact that are in Shreveport. I know my buddy Preston and my buddy Greg. And my buddy Greg was one of the first vegan kids that I met. It was like 1998. Veganism wasn't as mainstream back then. It was a bunch of hardcore kids who were straight edge and listened to classic Earth Crisis, or the occasional normie that learned it from some hippie friend of theirs. That's usually who you had. That was the usual camps of vegans. So when he told me he was a vegan, my first thought was, wait, so you have to make sure none of the food that you eat has animal product? And you live in the South? We are living in Sleazeport, Louisiana. Sorry, guys. I know that, like, I'm pretty sure you guys are really, like, you know, you love that area. I hated that area. But I love the people that I met there. So, you know, shout out to the people in Shreveport. Except for that mega church pastor that we talked about on Irreverent last week. But he's a mega church pastor in Houston. Anyway, that's not the point. So when he told me all of that, it sounds like an endurance. It sounds like a worse endurance trial than soccer. So anyway, all that to say, do you separate the art from the artist in this particular case, or in this case, the animal product? I think that, again, like most things, there are complicated things, and there are levels to these things, and I think that we should really take that into consideration before we start talking about cancel culture. We do. And that actually brings me to my next point. I mean, look, the insurrection did the impossible, guys. The insurrection made me root for cops, guys. Can you believe the insurrection, a bunch of traitors of this country, a bunch of traitors, because that's what you are. You're not Americans, you're traitors. You made me root for the cops. It's also weird that the cops didn't use lethal force there, but I guess now they know. And you know what? Now I guess they know what it's like to be a black person in America. You might have a white guy beat you with a freaking with a fire extinguisher. But it made me root for the cops. Because like them or hate them, they're in charge of saving our democracy from a domestic threat. That's what they were in charge of that day. And let me be clear. There were also cops there that aided and abetted. There were cops there that moved barricades for these traitors. There were cops that took time off and put their Proud Boy outfits on and their MAGA hats on and stormed the Capitol. Your no more bullshit flags. Trump 2020. When I lived in DeBerry briefly, there were, I think, a half a dozen at least on my street. A half a dozen Trump flags. Imagine that, Trump flags. That's not even counting the quiet ones. The tax Trumpists. I don't think there were any tax Trumpists in that row though. Not in DeBerry. Not where I was. But these guys made me root for the cops. They stormed the Capitol with a bunch of conspiracy theorists, racist losers, evangelicals, and literal Nazis. Literal Nazis. But to the cops that stood their ground and defended democracy, to the Eugene Goodman, I think is his name, the police officer within the Capitol building that like diverted the angry mob and gave security time to lock down for the lawmakers, some of which instigated this. Shout out to him. Shout out to Eugene Goodman. So, you guys stormed the Capitol with literal Nazis and Confederate losers. You guys are traitors. To the cops that stood their ground and helped save democracy, thanks for doing what we paid you to do. Now turn around and clean up your precinct, because I can bet you that there are a bunch of sympathizers there. Clean it up, because this is making your job harder. That's what this job, that's what not cleaning up, that's what that blue shield that you guys have, where you don't rat out your buddies. That guy. That guy that you're thinking of, because you're thinking, if you're a cop and you know that you're thinking of at least one or two in your precinct that are racist or racist adjacent. That, like, if you heard, oh man, I just heard Connor was at the KKK rally. They just caught him. Yeah, he was there with Brent and Bryce and Tyler. And Tanner. Look, clean it up. It's making your job harder, guys. If you're not for it, get the hell out. If you're not into it, if you're not going to be able to do that, then get out. Let someone else that has the balls to call out people around them for improprieties. That's what they're there for. That's what you're supposed to be there for. So, shout out to the cops, and congratulations to the insurrectionists and the traitors. You made me root for cops, for three cops. These three cops. Let's see. Let's give them. Let's see. These three guys: DC Police Officer Daniel Hodges, Mike Fanon, and Christina Laurie. Yeah, man. So these three. Shout out to them. They, this guy, the guy in the middle was while he was getting beaten, he heard, "Kill him with his own gun." Blue lives matter. Blue lives matter. And as of this recording, tomorrow, January 20th, bye-bye, dickhead. Trump is out. Trump is out. Thank God. I'll be wearing my Nazi Trump fuck off shirt tomorrow. Wow. What a ride these 4 years have been. You know what? Are you a fan of the social media tech ban right now? Because like you, probably, like if you're listening to this, I've been giddy knowing that Trump is fuming mad that he can't tweet or make T-shirts. I guess, I don't know. Shopify just blocked him. But at one point, companies were just piling on. They were just piling on. And at one point, I was like, really? Pinterest? Pinterest blocked him? Some of my conservative buddies were making good points, though, about censorship and stuff, which is not a sentence I say very often. But then I got to thinking, first, Trump is banned. Cool. Awesome. Then Parler. So far, so good. But then who else? And if that's the case, then when are they going to come after something I say? Because you know my mouth is going to pop off at someone. But, all praise to the God of irony. All praise to the God of irony. Because that is the one good point that the conservatives have made. I'll give them that. But they're making it 6 months. 6 months After they were making the argument that that social media companies are private businesses. 6 months. That's so funny. Trump's deranged cult is something else. They get banned from social media, and misinformation drops by like 73%, I think is what it said. So where do you draw the line? So far, I'm a fan. Like, it's been a relief. It's a good thing for the time being. And now not seeing his stupid orange face blow hot air out of his mouth. That's nice. I gotta say. But, before you start with, feeling sorry for this idiot, realize he has a whole department for, a day or so, for the next day or so, a whole department that he could call on a whim, and his entire job, the entire job of this department is to report on what he says. The fact that he can't use social media to spread lies is actually saving him right now. Can you imagine? So I think this is where I come down on it for now, is that I believe it's a good thing. But I also know how hesitant the government is to pull back on freedoms that they've taken away. And that frightens me. But if I said I wasn't enjoying the conservatives' squirm in their hypocrisy, I'd be lying to you. Watching them battle with making government tell business what to do is something that they argued against just 6 months ago. Conservatives were the ones saying it. They were the ones, oh no, we shouldn't break up social media. They should do whatever they want because it would be government telling private business what to do. There's a Spanish saying, le salió el tiro por la culata. That is an all-time backfire. That is Spanish for the shot came out of the butt of the gun. Se le salió el tiro por la culata. It sounds way better in Spanish, I gotta say. I'm going to take a break and come back, and when I come back, the buddy Matt Doolittle will be joining me, and he wants to talk about Disney layoffs and the effects it'll have on the Orlando economy. He wants to talk about Biden becoming president, the championship games, and what the hell is WandaVision? I've been seeing that on Facebook, so he's going to tell us about that and the Tiger Woods documentary on HBO right here on the Hijack on the End.fm. DJ Zouain, and this is the Hijack. Thank you for joining us on show number 281. A lot of fucking shows, Jesus. So, as we all know, I like to bring my friends in. I like to bring old buddies in. I like to. I opened the door because the door was opened to me so many years ago. And one of the people that would regularly literally open the door to the radio station that I would be a total radio rat in, where the brass didn't know who the hell I was, and I would bring in a pizza, and the guys thought I was mildly entertaining enough to be there, was one of the dudes that would open the door for me was none other than my buddy, Mr. Matt Doolittle. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Dude, I am all right. I am hanging out.
I did report to you.
Huh?
Remember, it was such an open door.
It was a literal open door, yeah. So
in traffic, and I brought you in,
Yeah.
and then I was doing Best of the Monsters, and that's when I brought you in.
Yeah, man. It's really good to hear from you, man. And it's I love the Coke dealer glasses you got going on. This is very interesting.
I mean, I got the Coke dealer glasses. I got Jack Nicholson. I got Turtles. I got everything.
Yeah. You have a this is like a 90s amalgamation of all things cult classic. So you had a few things that were on your mind, and we were talking off the air about me actually rooting for cops after the Capitol Hill riots, the riots from the insurrectionists, the terrorists that were there, and so I told you that, like, this is out of the ordinary, because if anybody has listened to me for 5 minutes, they know how I feel about the culture of policing. I don't hate. People think that I hate police, and I don't hate police. I hate the job of police. I hate the history of the police.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the fact that it was started as a slave catching operation. I hate the fact that now white supremacists are all over the place in policing, and more than that, I hate the fact that I got stopped in a neighborhood that I grew up in 4 times in 1 month by the same stupid fucking cop that decided that he was going to try to find a way to get to search my car. And those kinds of things are unfortunately all too common, and my issue with cops is well documented. But last week, or whatever it was, 2 weeks ago, the 12 days ago, I guess it was, on the 6th, this 2021 has just been a blob of
It's a cluster of chaos.
It's an extension of 2020 almost. So January 6th, this insurrection happened, and it was for the first time in my life that I'm like, wow, there were 3 cops. We talked about it last segment. 3 cops that were like legitimately, they were treated like black people, and I was rooting for them, for the cops now. And that is, to me, is out of the ordinary. But they're there to do a job that we've paid them to do.
So let me contradict that. I have a best friend.
Yeah.
Is a police officer.
Okay.
I'll just say he's with Winter Springs PD.
Okay. You didn't have to say that, but it's fine.
Yeah, but he's one of my best friends of all time. And we've been through this and that and whatever, but I've never been through that type of anger where I was like, hey, this is going to be an issue. I've had that, and I mean, maybe you have, or we've all been through the cop stuff, and you know what, I'll bring it to this point. Granted, I'm a white American that's never had an issue with a cop. Yeah. I've never had that. I have black friends that have been through stuff. I got Hispanic friends that have been through stuff. Mm-hmm. Never had an issue. And you're Hispanic. Mm-hmm.
Hispanic and Lebanese, but yeah.
Right, but I've never had that issue. And my friend that is a Winter Springs police officer has never had that problem. Yeah. I don't know where to, go with that. I've been in a couple car accidents.
So let me help you with this, because here's the thing. A great example that I like to bring up is I was hanging out with one of my best friends who. He and I would regularly go grab lunch. We used to be roommates. Mm-hmm. We would regularly go grab lunch at this Cuban joint. And when we go to the Cuban joint, I go in there and I order my stuff, and usually I'll order in Spanish because the lady speaks Spanish. And then he orders behind me, and he orders in English. He's a white guy. And every time we came home, he's like, hey, I think you get better treatment there. I think you get like more food when we go there. And I'm like, bullshit. And he's like, no, I think you do. I think you do get more food when you are when we go there. And I was like, all right, fine.
Hispanic?
No, he's a white. Move your camera. Your thumb. Your hand is on the camera. There you go. He's a white guy. So we did this. We went to the place, and I ordered for both of us. So I ordered for both of us. We first went. I believe we first went and ordered separately, and I was like, holy shit, I think you're right. And then I went to make sure that it wasn't a fluke, and I ordered for both of us, and we both got the exact same amount. So I say that because you were just mentioning that, you know, people have had problems with police, and, you know, there are certain people that have had certain issues with police, that, you know, that you've had your issues with police, but it hasn't been to the extreme of, let's say, a typical black guy. And because you don't see it, to you it's kind of like, I don't know, like, is it there? And the reality is that it's the food all over again. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but so let me tell you this.
Yeah.
So you know my background. My dad used to run Club One.
Yeah.
So he got pulled over one night, and they pulled him over, and they go, "Hey, Jim, let's see your ID. Let's go through this whole thing." And he smelled like beer. He smelled like beer. Let's just we'll throw it out there. He smelled like beer.
Mm-hmm.
Go, oh, Jim, I know I know where you've been, and I know everything. All right, go ahead on home.
Mm-hmm.
So he got sent home from just knowing where he was from.
Yep.
So I get that you're having that type of mentality.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not even the familiarity. Like, this guy, the one time that both times that I've gotten stopped by a cop where I was just like, wow, really? Were both times in Lake Mary. Dude, I went to Greenwood Lakes Middle School. I went to Lake Mary High School. I went to Heathrow Elementary. Like, I am a Lake Mary kid. So when
a higher echelon.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, more than that, when in my own town that I grew up in, I'm getting stopped 4 times in the same, and I wasn't speeding. It was always, at one point I got snippy with him, and I was like, what is it now? And he said, oh, you have a taillight out. I'm like, really, dude? And I have a taillight out. Can I search your car? No, asshole, you can't search my car. Stop asking me. And that's my issue. Those are things. And then the other time, I'm coming home from DJing at a bar. This is like a Tuesday night. Coming home from DJing at a bar. And the dude stops me and says, do you have any guns, knives, or explosives?
Really?
I said exactly that. I was like, really, dude? Explosives? And he's like, I'm required to ask that.
Oh my God.
Dude, I can tell you countless times where at this point I've been walking down the street like in my old neighborhood, going for a walk, nothing major, and a cop stops me to ask me a question. I don't answer. Say, I'm sorry, gotta go. Am I being detained or am I free to go?
Well,
I don't talk to cops.
The counter to that was, where the 1792 thing, where the ramp comes over.
Mm.
So I got pulled over by a female cop, and she goes, "Oh, what do your tag light's out?"
Mm.
I go, "Okay," and so I got pulled over, and she just looks it over, and then she looks at my ID, and she goes, "Oh, you're Jim Doolittle's son?" And I go, "Yeah." She goes, "All right, have a good night."
See, but the thing is, okay, so I grew up in the Dominican Republic. I went back there for military school when I was like 15. And when I was, the military school that I was in was a fairly like, prestigious military school. Like people, we would get nice treatment whenever we would go somewhere because we were part of that academy. And I remember specifically getting stopped by a cop, me driving at 15 years old with no license. I gave them my military school ID. They handed it back to me, and I went on my way. So what's
right?
that? What was that?
You just dealt with it, like they gave you all your,
They didn't do anything to me. I was because the thing is, in the Dominican Republic, I was basically a white guy.
Oh shit. Okay.
That's the thing. So I've seen both sides of this. I've been treated like a white guy, and I've been treated like an Arab in a post 9/11 world.
Well, you're a super white guy with your fantastic hair. So.
Well, that's the Zouain main, dog. That's the Zouain main. Move your hand. Move your hand again. Your hand is on the camera again.
There we go.
There it is. There it is. So, oh shit, you got what is that? That's all hockey. I don't know hockey.
Oh no, this is. Oh,
that's Blackhawks, isn't it?
Yeah.
Boom.
No, this is Woodward, and then this is a Jordan jersey.
Nice. So that was what we were talking about last segment. Was the my rooting for the cops for the first time in my life, but you were also wanting to talk about the Disney stuff. You were talking about the Disney layoffs.
So you can see over here, like I work for Disney. I work for Disney, and I work for Disney Cruise Lines.
Yeah.
What is killing me is that they've laid off 25,000 people.
Jesus.
And that's a massive hit to the Orlando economy.
Oh, for sure. Oh yeah.
So now, I love me some Baby Yoda, and I love all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But for our overall, I don't know what you want to call it, for our economy here,
mm-hmm.
we're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's and a lot of people don't understand it, that they're not putting the money back into this economy.
Yeah.
I think the biggest hit is going to be people, going into downtown Orlando. It's going to be people going into, your outside area, which
mm-hmm.
is 192 and all those places.
Yep.
And a lot of money that's not going to be hitting that area.
Well, because this is an economy that is built on tourism. The reason we don't have
this entire area
mm-hmm.
has been built on money that came from the Disney Corporation.
Mm-hmm.
It's 1977,
mm-hmm.
and it's now getting screwed over because the money is gone.
Yeah, I mean that's the money is the reason that the money is gone is because of tourism, and tourism is our bottom dollar.
Well, that's where our taxes come from. That's where our tax breaks come from.
Mm-hmm.
Our tax breaks come from
yep.
all money that goes into Disney, that goes into Universal, that goes into the world, and we are completely screwed if we're not getting that money from those people.
Absolutely. No, like that is one of those things. It's one of those things that like I remember, I shit on the tourists a lot, and I'm like, I hate driving through, because dude, I used to DJ for 2 years. I was DJing on iDrive every Saturday night. And
right.
So like one of those things that I bitch about is also the thing that makes it so that I don't have certain taxes that other states do have. So I think that we need to, if nothing else, this economy, especially here, hold on a second, this economy, especially here, especially now, we need to realize that it is not sustainable, and we need to figure out a way for our economy, this economy that's currently a tourist economy primarily. We need to find a way to either make that sustainable for situations like this, or we need to find a new avenue, because this ain't working.
Well, we don't have a state tax.
Yeah, I know, and I don't want a state tax.
So for a minute, I worked in Michigan.
Yeah.
And they had a state tax and everything, and we don't have that. So now we're screwed because a lot of Orlandoians, if you want to call it that, don't understand that we don't have that tax.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So we're screwed.
There are people right now that are like, what do you mean a state tax? Because they've never worked outside of Florida.
Look at everything that's not happening at the convention center.
Yep.
We don't have those conventions. We don't have MegaCon. We don't have these conventions that are coming here that are also putting money into. I mean, hell, if they were gonna put money into goddamn Red Lobster that was down the street, that ain't happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's sad, but we need to figure, like I said, we need to figure out a way to make it more sustainable, because if we don't, at the end of the day, like we're gonna end up being another LA. Have you been to LA recently?
Oh, so let me tell you this. So I have a friend, Chris Naylor, who's a stunt actor out in LA.
Yeah.
He has gone through the gauntlet. He's totally screwed. He told me he's moving to Atlanta because of what's happened out there. He's going, yeah, screw it, I'm moving to Atlanta.
Well, Atlanta and Georgia in general has kind of, has flipped pretty blue. And I mean, I personally voted a Democrat for the first time in my entire life. I was a Republican up until 2016. I was a Republican until I was a Libertarian, and then after that I started moving left. But yeah, I mean, Georgia's moving left, and the policies there are
they're blue. Also, South Carolina is blue, and so is North Carolina.
Yeah,
and it is what it is, and also what the state of Florida needs to do, and I mean, we saw it back in the day, is we need to have tax breaks for productions.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because that brings money.
And you know Carlos Navarro. You know as I do.
Yep.
What he's had to do is go up to Georgia, go up South Carolina, and do everything, because that's where the productions are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm hoping that DeSantis
doing productions.
What's that?
Because both actors, we're both production. Let's have at it.
I think it would be wise for the citizenry in Florida to look at what DeSantis has done the last year, and go blue. Like
I know this state is a production state.
Absolutely, it's
in this state, if you look at everything from Tampa to Orlando to Miami to Jacksonville, every here is a blue state, and that needs to have happen.
I'm hoping that we are moving blue. I mean, tomorrow we have a new president tomorrow at noon.
Tomorrow's gonna be fun.
Yeah. No, I'm very excited about tomorrow. I might do a Facebook Live tomorrow.
What do you feel about tomorrow?
I feel like okay, so this is really how I feel about literally everything that has to do with Joe Biden. 2020, November of 2020 was an amalgamation of everything that I hated about 2020. I was voting for a corporate guy and a cop, and I was smiling about it. Like, So my voting for Biden and my excitement for Biden is not as much Biden getting there, but the guy that's getting the fuck out. Like, that's really my celebration.
Right. No, we're all done with Captain Schmucky.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, yeah. No.
So my hope is that.
I mean, I saw your comment on my Facebook page. So
yeah.
Like we're done with this.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to hate my government the normal amount.
I want to not be, how do I say this, bored. I don't want to be bored.
I'm okay with being bored.
I'm saying I want to be bored.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm done. You have no idea.
I'm done with waking up every morning at 7, because I go to bed usually about 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And up at 7, and then I look at Twitter, and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Well, here's the thing. Doom scrolling has gotten a lot less doomy. And because Trump is no longer there, and we've actually the last segment I talked about this because I've been giddy at the thought of him being like his blood boiling and him not being able to tweet. So my question to you is, now that like all the giddiness of him not being there and like him getting like canceled by fucking Shopify, what's he not going to be able to print T-shirts? So like I am coming to. Now that the happiness is kind of like, that was fun. So should we really start canceling people like this quickly?
I don't think we should start canceling. What I am excited about is I don't have to deal with it.
Yeah. Amen.
I have to have a problem in the morning. Like, I don't, like, so... Let me tell you this. I on the TV and I invest my money in weed stocks. Okay. Now what I don't have to do is turn on the TV and worry about what the fuck he just actually said.
Yep. That's.
I don't. And I mean, you know this. I come from a news background.
Yep.
I'm working on news networks, and I got up at 4 in the morning, and I had to be. I don't now have to wake up and go, oh, what the F did he just say?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I used to, my last on-air gig was for Salem Media Group. I was there for 2 years. The largest Christian conservative conglomerate, not the Cumulus is the largest conglomerate.
Yeah. With the beard and the hair and everything?
Oh, well, yeah. Oh, yeah. All like exactly like that. I actually, one of the things I remember the most for my daily routine is making sure that the shirt that I was wearing didn't have a curse word on it or didn't have a or some I think they were okay with a Misfits shirt. Okay. But actually, no, because I wouldn't know because I don't think I was there when I had this shirt. Either way, it doesn't matter. The point is that I was working for a large Christian conservative conglomerate, and I'll tell you that my first day there was the day after the election in 2016. Oh. So I was there like just dead. I was like, I cannot believe this, and it's. The conservative media is to blame for that, and specifically the Christian conservative media. And I've talked about it ad nauseum the last few weeks, so I'm not going to talk about it again. But at the end of the day, I don't know that we should be... I wish that I could say, like, all right, yeah, but just Trump, okay? And that's my initial thought is, okay, fine, just Trump. But I don't know what the line is.
Well, in 16, let me tell you this. When I was on a national morning TV show, I had a director yelling in my ear going, you can't talk about this, or you're too liberal or whatever.
Yeah.
And literally she would walk out and yell at me. And I was like, are you effing kidding me? Like, I'm up at 3 in the morning watching all this. I'm supposed to have my opinion, and then you're gonna walk out and yell at me. Like it was complete horseshit.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, when I was there, I specifically told my bosses that I was not going to do any political. I was like, I'm going to do the straight news and traffic.
What was your opinion?
Oh yeah, I wasn't going to say my opinion or anybody's opinion. I was just going to say, hey, somebody got shot in Pine Hills. Hey, this is the weather. Hey, this is the traffic. Traffic and weather together.
Brought to you by.
Yeah, brought to you by blah blah blah. Like that was me, and that was me 6 times an hour, every hour.
Save on the miles you drive, and save on the miles you don't.
I'm oh god, I have nightmares now where I'm like I'm reading that copy now. So what are you up to these days? What are you? Where can people find you on the socials?
You know what? I actually have a lot of stuff on TikTok.
Ah, you TikTok guy.
I'm a TikTok guy. It's Millennium Matt.
Millennium Matt.
Lenn Matt. So I'm doing that because I'm showing off all the stuff that I'm doing at the parks.
Nice.
And then on top of that, I was a traffic guy for Detroit weather. So.
Okay, nice. So are you doing the TikTok thing? I have some friends that are my buddy Greg Runge. He's a good buddy of mine. He's a TikToker. And my buddy Isaac Knox. Like, are you digging the TikTok thing?
I'm digging it. It's the most random stuff that I'm doing. Like I'm doing, I got Baby Yoda, which you can see over there.
Yeah. The Baby Yoda, yeah.
Baby Yoda.
I never got on the Baby Yoda craze. I'm not gonna lie to you. I can't do it.
Baby Yoda. Love me some Baby Yoda. I got
Baby Yoda.
If you watch my TikTok,
yeah,
I've got the Razor Crest, which is from what is it? Mandalorian.
Nice. All right.
Which is the greatest show ever made. Honestly,
I see. Again, it's one of those things that like I am a casual fan of Star Wars. I like Star Wars quite a bit.
I'll go radio voice real quick. It's the greatest show ever made from Star Wars.
I don't know that I'm gonna have to give it a try because everybody keeps talking about it.
Watch from the beginning. Watch it from the beginning.
Yeah, I'll always watch it from the beginning.
And I'm gonna throw a spoiler out there. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Please pause or mute or go fast forward or whatever.
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett? Isn't that the lady that's getting fired from the Senate because she was part of the insurrection?
No. Boba Fett.
Oh, Boba Fett. Boba Fett. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Come on.
That's right. Yes, Boba Fett. I know Boba Fett. I'm back in political mode right now. My brain's in political mode.
You know what? Screw all these people.
You know what? I think that I'm excited about tomorrow. I have some whiskey waiting for me.
Tomorrow's gonna be just a drunken day.
Tomorrow at noon, I am going to be. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so my typical day is just editing. So
we're gonna text each other just because. Going to be a day.
Yes, absolutely. Hit me up, and you can find Matt at Millennium Matt.
Yes,
Millennium Matt on the TikToks, and keep a lookout for some of his stuff on Disney. Dude, thank you so much for being on the show. We'll have to catch up again soon, bro.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, man. Thanks, man. My name is DJ Zouain. You can find me anywhere on social media at DJ Zouain. You can find me on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, on Instagram, which I just realized in the screen here, I don't have Instagram in the little logo things. I think I might have accidentally removed that. Whoopsie. So you could find me on all of that, and you could find the Hijack, you could find Irreverent, you could find the Monday Music Mix on iTunes, on Google, on Spotify, on iHeartRadio, on the N.FM. Better yet, go to the N.FM and just subscribe to all three on the N.FM, and I'll talk to you next week. You know what? I will talk to you on Sunday for Irreverent. Peace.